Hello everyone, this is FOV again. It's always a pleasure to come your way. Sometimes when something happens in our country, this country, Nigeria, is amazing how we worship this misery with new words and expression of, say, hey, give am gbasgbos, give am woto woto. And these slancy neologism trying to invent new form of comfort in us, like, ajebota, instead of smartness and courage. Ahmed Tinubu, a traitor, just committed treason on us and on our country, and looked at us with boldness and say we should go to hell. Ahmed Tinubu committed treason against his country, against our own country, against us. He does not just only commit treason, he told us to our face we should go to hell with it. And what did the National Assembly do? They said bravo and clap and all say yay. Continue, Mr. President. And what do you expect? You expected the National Assembly, selected National Assembly, to do what? No. They have been doing this, and we are so numbed with it that it's now our tradition. It's now our tradition. There is not even need to follow all the sections in the Constitution that Ahmed Tinubu broke. No need. Only Section 1 of our Constitution already say that. He committed treason against the very first section of the Constitution they said they swore oath on. The first section, which says the Constitution is supreme to anything, any law, or everyone, including the president up to the last born. There is no need to go to any other section, like Section 79, which talked about duly elected governor. No need to talk about Section 180, Section 188, or Section 189, which explain how the governor and the deputy could be removed. Ahmed Tinubu manipulated a phrase in Section 305 using extraordinary measure. What is extraordinary measures deals with is spelled out in Section 45. It's right there. How the extraordinary measure is going to be used, or is what it's all about. He said it can only, because if anything happened like war, the president can declare a state of emergency, which will limit our fundamental liberty, like movement or anything we want to do. For instance, if I want to go out at 11 p.m. in the evening, it's my choice, it's my right. But because there is a situation like war or natural disaster the president through National Assembly can say, no, FOV, you cannot go out because of this situation we are. That is what the manipulative words of extraordinary measure in section 305 deals with extensively and clearly in section 45. And even when he explained that in section 45, section 11 categorically say, even with your National Assembly, you are doing all this limitation to your citizens' liberty. You cannot touch the governor of that state or the deputy. It's all right there. And these people say, yay, well done. And I see lawyers and sons coming out on public forums and TV saying the president did what he has to do in extraordinary circumstances. Extraordinary circumstances over section 1 of our Constitution, which says nobody is above the Constitution. The Constitution tells you what you can do or what you cannot do. And Ahmed Tinubu said, go to hell with the Constitution and with the people. It's not his fault. All presidents have done this, have violated the oath of their Constitution. They all done it. I mean, I'm concentrating on this current republic from 1999. Obasanjo violated our Constitution. Yar'Adua, abi na Jonathan, or na Muhammadu Buhari, who we could not see for years, incapacitated. They all done it and they told us, go to hell. And people come out on TV and start saying jibby jabber. And after 24 hours, we fall back to our normal selves. Come on, let's steal. That is our job. And people, just especially the activists, they are just, no, it's not good, it's not bad, it's not this, it's not that. But these people just look at us and laugh. I say, Mona, not mind them. I bet me will settle and me will steal what you want steal. Who cares about those people? After all, we do not elect them. They selected themselves. And we expect them to come and serve us. Give me a break. Give me a break. And I keep saying, it's not their fault. It's not our leaders' fault. It's our own fault. The inability to bring ourselves back to who we are and take our country back. And the question is, how long are we going to continue acquiescing to this, our addictive duplicity, permeating all over us? This is why my entity is a juggernaut. Unstoppable Tomorrow Nigeria Force. A movement, a psychological revolution that will bring about a new constitution. Without this, we can say everything we want. And people have been saying it. What we are saying now, what I'm saying now, what Sowore is saying now, what Dele Farotimi is saying now, what Kenneth Okonkwo is saying now, have been said before, even more vigorously, by even more capable people. Gani Fawehemi did more than what everybody is doing now. But at the end of the day, his name is not even in a footnote in our history. We could scream and shout and say we want to form a party to go. Do you think Sowore is going to be our next president? Do you really think that? And you believe that? If you believe that, you can believe me when I tell you that my grandmother dated King Nebuchadnezzar. No, it's not going to happen. The only way forward for us is for us to start, citizens, to start a new movement, a political movement. It has nothing to do with politics. A movement that will change our orientation and call for a new constitution. When we have a constitution made by us, for us, made from us to us, that is the only way we can get our power back. That is the only way. I'm still going to use this analogy, a parody I've always used, like the parable of the sower. These leaders are not the problem. Whoever is there is going to do more than what Tinubu is doing. Put Sowore there tomorrow, is going to do the same thing. What have Tinubu not said about democracy and the fought for it and is going to grow? What is he doing now when he's there? If Sowore is there tomorrow, he's going to do worse than Tinubu. If I am there tomorrow, I'm going to do worse than Tinubu. Our leaders is not the problem. In fact, we've had people that are capable and intelligent in the government. Arguably, you will say Sanusi is an intelligent and capable man. Many people will agree with me when I say Ngozi Uwala is a very capable and intelligent woman. Donald Duke, with his TAPA vision, was a very visionary guy. All these people have been in the government. They could not do anything. And people have been vigorously criticizing and screaming. Nobody will ever scream more than Gani Fawehemi. At last, he even started his own political party, want to go and be a president and change the whole thing. Like what Sowore and others are doing now. It never worked. It's not working and it's not going to work. Our only way forward is to start a movement. That is why I'm calling on Sowore now. I'm calling on Kenneth Okonkwo. I'm calling on Dele Farotimi, Omoyele Sowore, Shetima, or Asha Yesu. Those times when they pull all her head out to bring our guests back, she can start it now. With a new vision, let all of us that really care about Nigeria, if we want to change it, if we want to change Nigeria, we should stop doing what we have always done and start a new one. A new way forward. The only thing that matters now, there is no need for us to start wasting our time on the coming election. The election has already been decided. They've selected who want to be the president, and it's going to be that way. Let's start a new tomorrow Nigeria. We should start sowing. We should start sowing. Because the system, whatever we do right now, the system is going to be the same until we have the power to elect and unelect. Nothing is going to happen. These scavengers are going to tell us to go to hell. Until we have the power that can elect and unelect, that is when they listen to us. So let's concentrate our energy on getting that power. The only way to get that power is to agitate for a new constitution. A new constitution that is going to be made by us and for us. I have said this over and over and over again. And a lot of people have reached out to me and say, this is a good idea, but how will it work in Nigeria? True. How will it work? Our leaders all across the board, the politicians, the traditional rulers, the religious leaders, the private sector leaders, they are all the same. Because they do not fear us, they do whatever they like. The only way they can fear us is if we get our power back. And the only way we can get our power back is to do a new constitution. A new constitution that is going to tell us who we are and how we're going to be governed. And once we have that constitution that pulls our power back to us, we will have a free and fair election where we can elect and unelect people. You will see how dramatic everything is going to change. A new constitution that will guarantees us our rights and our aspiration. A new constitution that is going to give us the following. First, we're going to have state autonomy. State autonomy that give the access and resources to each state. Second, we will have a secular and de facto language state. This national unity nonsense will be eliminated. We will have just only Nigeria and Nigerians. Wherever you are, whether you are Adamu in Sokoto, if you have a little residency qualification, you can become a governor of Ondo State. If you are from Lagos, you can become a local government chairman in Jigawa. This national spirit is what they are using to divide us in tribe and religion. So our new constitution will eliminate tribe and religion. Religion can only be practiced privately and personally. The state will not recognize religion and tribe. The year to contest for election will be between 25 and 75. Once you are 75, you can only vote. You cannot contest for a public office. Our constitution would design how much each public officers or public office holder will earn. This will eliminate this money enticing enterprise that they created. The fourth one will be corruption. Corruption in all public places will be a death penalty. Corruption in private sector will be life imprisonment. The Constitution will recognize only 3 political parties. It will establish 3 political parties: left, center, and right. Right, the conservative, left, the liberal, and the middle one is between 2 of them. You can join any of these 3. And this will bring about ideology rather than jumping from one party to another. When you have these 3 enshrined constitutional political party, it will create ideology. It will now be what you believe in, what is your worldview, what is your philosophy, what is your way of life. That is what will shape your political party, and you will join any of these 3 political parties. There will be no longer national police. Each state is responsible for its own security. There will be no longer national electoral body. INEC will be gone. Each state will conduct their own elections. Even the federal election will be conducted by each state, and the result transfer to the center through electric voting. The next one will be, there will be no longer military activities inside our country, except in war and all the extra circumstances. But there will be no longer military activities inside the country. All law enforcement will be taken care of by local police and special agents, federal agents. There will be no longer federal tertiary institution. States can do whatever they want. The university will be managed by private sectors or NGOs. Our constitutional amendment will be made through public referendum. This 2/3 of National Assembly, they just change them, will be eliminated. So everything enshrined in our constitution will be rigid, and it will be very difficult for some group or part of people to just change it. The constitution can only be amended by referendum. And the National Assembly will be eliminated, and they will have just only one National Assembly. This one National Assembly will have 4 members representative from each state to make our law. That's enough. And our constitution will be so enshrined in these features. Guess what? When we are able to get this kind of constitution, decide by us, for us, our power will come back to us. Bring any election out, you will see that the most qualified people will be voted for. And because there is no longer money in the politics, because the constitution already tells us how much you are going to get as a councillor, as a local government chairman, as a governor, as president, as National Assembly members. You cannot get anything outside that. And every public officer declares their income or their money before they get into office. Once they get out, they declare again. We'll know how much you get. There will be a special commission to take care of that. And this presidential term limit will be restricted only to one term, maybe 5 or 6 years. Only one term, 5 or 6 years. And if you are good enough, it now depends on the people. If you are good enough, they keep voting for you. You can stay there for 3 terms or 4 terms or however you want. But you are limited to 5 or 6 terms once. Then you go for vote. These are some of the features that in our new constitution will have that will give our power back to us. But the question now becomes, how do we get this new constitution you are talking about? The government is not going to just give it to you like that. No, we have to agitate for it. That is why I'm calling on this National Tomorrow Nigeria movement. We have to start this Tomorrow Nigeria movement. We start this Tomorrow Nigeria movement and agitate for a new constitution from the government. The government can set it up through legislation or whatever and allow we Nigerians, not experts, not people we go do adult education from somewhere, come write them for us. No, we go write them by ourselves. The government will only facilitate this. Let each state select however he can. 100 people each from each state to National Constitutional Conference. These 100 people each from each state, about 3,600 or something, will constitute the National Constitutional Conference to discuss our constitution along this line I just mentioned earlier. 6 months, 1 year, they come up with this agreement that becomes our Bill of Rights. Once these people that represent the whole nation come up with an agreement with all these features I mentioned, that agreement becomes our Bill of Rights. This Bill of Rights is transferred to a commission set up by government to put this Bill of Rights into a legal form, which will now be our constitution. That's all. But that's all really? No, it's not. Because scavengers, whoever give power freely out. No, freedom is fought for. Freedom is not free. That is why Tomorrow Nigeria has to start. It's an unstoppable force that the government cannot do anything about. Rather, it will succumb to the demand of this new movement. All these wannabe politicians, Sowore and co, should concentrate on this new idea. Let's discuss it. Let's come together and form this unstoppable movement, a juggernaut that will shake the government and submit them to our will and give us a new constitution. The Tomorrow Nigeria movement is going to start from the top to bottom. We will start with 100 member organizers. We will select 100 people all over Nigeria. 100 people across all spectrum, across all demography, and bring out 100 people that will represent us. These 100 people will be called national organizers. This group will not have chairman or treasurer or secretary. All of them are a unit. Together they are one. All of them will be the chairman, all of them will be the secretary, all of them will be the treasurer or whatever position I want. Together, every decision they are going to make is through voting. 2/3 of the vote will carry each decision. Once this member is set up and running, they will now go to the state. Each state will select 100 members, the same way the national organizer is set up. Once the state is stable, they will go to the local government. The local government will be set up the same way. 100 people in each local government form local government organizers with the same features. The same will go down to the ward. Each ward in Nigeria will have 100 people each that will be the ward organizers. These organizers will have the same features like the local government, the states, and the national. So the whole thing will run from the national organizer to the ward organizer. The responsibility will flow from up to down. The consequences will flow from down to up. For example, if there is a decision made by national organizer, it flows down to state, the state implements it, flows down to local government level, local government implements it and goes down to ward level. If there is any error, if there is any mistake, any misdeed from from the ward, then the consequences goes up from the ward to the local government, from the local government to the state, and from the state to the national. All this thing is going to be done through website, a national website that will have the national session, the state session. Each state will have their own session in the website, and each state manage their own session in the website. Then in the states, each local government will have their own session. Each local government manage their own session in the website. And in the local government, they will have all wards. Each ward will have their own session, and each ward will manage its own session in the website. All information flows from up to bottom or from bottom up. We do not need money in this thing. We have people that are so savvy in technology. We can gather them together and do this thing on our own. A formidable force. Before I continue, let me go back to my previous parody. I use this parody often, not because I'm a Christian, the parable of the sower. My analogy with this parable has no religious inclination at all. I use it because as many story in the Bible has come to be now a universal. You don't need to be a Christian or any religion know more about this story. So it's now become more a universal parody that everybody understand, rather than whether you are a Christian or not. So why I'm using this this story is not because it has nothing to do with my faith or anything. So you can we understand that there are a lot of stories in the Bible that has become so universal that whether you are Christian or not, when you've heard it or know what it is. To make example, the three that comes to my mind now is, am I my brother's keeper? Story from Cain and Abel. So you don't need to be a Christian. You know this. Am I my brother's keeper? Is now so universal when speaking. Another one that comes to mind is the prodigal son, you know. And the last one, obviously, is the parable of the sower. So the reason I'm using the parable of the sower is to illustrate that the problem is not our leaders. The problem is us, inability to take our power back. So we have to fight. The people that are fighting for us, the so-called people that think they are fighting for us, they should be sowing seed into us. They should be telling us, how do we come up with our power? You're not going to get it by fighting these people. You don't have the resources. You have to train us to fight it by ourselves. So that is why I said, no matter who you put there now with this same system, is going to turn out to be the same thing. Because we have had, not all the people in the government are evil people. They are basically good people in their own right and their own way. And they all think that they are doing the right thing for Nigeria, which probably is so in their belief. But the system is what is at stake. It's the system that we have to change, not fighting Wike or Tinubu. That's not going to change anything. We have to change the system. By changing the system, we need a new constitution we call our own. So how to get a new constitution is to start a movement, a Tomorrow Nigeria movement that will be so powerful that the government cannot say no to our demand. For example, we have 100 members, national organizers. They are organizers, nothing more, in unit. Then we have 100 members from each state. 100 members from each state, which is 3,600 state organizers. Then we have 70,400 organizers from local government councils. Then we have about 880,600 organizers from the world. Can you imagine? These are just only 100 each. Can you imagine if we start a protest, for example? You just only need to activate 100 members, organizers from each world, to make Nigeria a standstill. Are you going to tell me that 880,000 protesters are all over the walls, the 777 wards in Nigeria is occupied one day, one moment? You think Nigeria government can do anything about that? No, they cannot. They can only send soldiers to a group if we gather under a bridge in Surulere and come shoot 2 people and the rest we all scatter. But if we make it like this, 880,000, that is just only organizers. So each word, waiting military want to tell me about 880,000 protesters in each ward. Nothing. We bring the country to its knee within 6 hours, just activating only organizers, not members this time. Because it's going to be easy. Is these 100 organizers from different departments that will recruit members. And the way to recruit members is going to be very simple, because this is going to be so technological that it will blow everybody's mind. Registration is just you click into the website, click to your state, click to your local government, click to your ward, and register and have a national ID. That's all. That's all. Everything is through fingerprint or facial recognition. Everything is going to be done through this website. It's going to be mind-blowing. We don't need to rent anything. We don't need to call professor to come and teach in seminar or conferences. We don't need any of that. We have technicians. We have engineers. We have all these experts that can do this thing for us for free. We just need to mobilize people. Soon, I'll be starting a Tetra Race Student Union tour. I'm starting, obviously, from here, from Abuja, where I'm resident. So I'll go to university around Abuja here first. Then we'll start talking to people on how we can start this Tomorrow Nigeria movement. So I'm calling on Sowore. I'm calling on Dele Farotimi. I'm calling on Asha Yusuf. I'm calling on Kenneth Okonkwo, Shetima, and a host of them to please, let's have this idea. Let's discuss this Tomorrow Nigeria movement. Let's discuss how we can come up, with this idea and spread it out. This is our only way. This is our only option. Please, let's pick it up. I'm calling on these activists. Let's come together. Let's forget about 2027. Let's use our energy to start this national Tomorrow Nigeria movement. It's our only hope. And I hope I hear from you guys. And I'm looking forward to work with many people, Sowore, Asha Yusuf, Kenneth Okonkwo, Dele Farotimi. I'm looking forward to discuss this idea, to look at the viability, to look at how we can really form this idea into a psychological movement. How can we do this? All other things we are doing is not working. It never worked. It's not going to work. A Tomorrow Nigeria movement that will agitate for a new constitution, a constitution that will give us our rights and our aspiration is what we need. If we are really serious of doing something, this is our time. This is our moment. We can learn from the past and see that whatever we are doing now is going to fade away because people have done it in the past. Some have done it and they are no longer here with us. Some people are still doing it, like Falana, one of the greatest in the wilderness right now. But he's going to do and go, and nothing is going to happen. So some even fight, and later gave up and joined him. Woloshoika. So let us create a moment that history will remember us. I do not need power. I do not need money. I do not need mansions. All I need, all I have always needed is a dream. A dream that tomorrow, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, people will look at my name in buildings, in public buildings. People will look at my statues in national parks and say, this man was one of the people that brought us this constitution we are enjoying today. That is my dream. Let's follow up. Let's construct. Let's create. Let's start this movement. Tomorrow Nigeria movement. Let's start it, let's discuss it, and see how we can move forward. This is our only hope, and this is what I would recommend everybody that really means something good for Nigeria to concentrate on. Thank you very much, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye.